Next on Worcester News tonight, new legislation aims to better preserve evidence in sexual assault cases. Plus, Worcester Superintendent of Schools outlines goals after her first 100 days on the job. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Worcester Superintendent Maureen Benenda is identifying challenges and talking about her plans for the Worcester Public Schools. The longtime educator and former South High School principal discussed her first 100 days as superintendent in a presentation this evening. Our Jennifer Zarate was there and has the details on our top story.
Worcester Superintendent Maureen Benenda talks about the first 100 days in her new role.
During my first 100 days, I spent a lot of time looking at the current structures and systems that we already have in place.
At a presentation Wednesday at the Durkin Administration Building, Benenda outlined her mission for Worcester Public Schools.
With really looking at our current curriculum, one of the big things is that we really need to work on literacy.
Benenda says they've brought in an expert on language and literacy development from Hartford University to work with 3 schools. Benenda also stressed the importance of establishing trust between parents in the community and the school system.
I have a daughter at Thorndike Road School, and I have lots of friends that are teachers, and I think she's setting it out on a positive note. Honestly, to wrap up, Maureen, it's all about partnering and building a big community so we can all support each other.
I think trying to get the buy-in of the community, both the business community, the residents, the parents, the teachers, and how we're going to proceed in the Worcester Public Schools, I think she makes a difference.
This academic year marks the 41st year Benenda has worked for Worcester Public Schools.
And when I got this position, many of them wrote me and came to speak to me and said, I really trust you're going to do its best.
The superintendent says she's working on a strategic plan, part of a Worcester Compact agreement between businesses, schools, and communities overall to gather support for the Worcester Public Schools. In Worcester, Jennifer Zarate, Worcester News Tonight.
A bill passed by state lawmakers aiming to better preserve evidence for victims of rape and sexual assault is now on the governor's desk. The bill increases the amount of time sexual assault kits are required to be kept for evidentiary purposes. Currently, the kits are only required to be kept for 6 months. Under the new legislation, they would be required to be stored for 15 years. Senator Michael Moore says this bill helps to ensure the integrity of the evidence until a survivor is ready to come forward.
To have the evidence that's going to most likely show that there was some sort of sexual contact. It won't show that there was a rape, but it will show that there was some sort of sexual conduct between the two, which goes a long way in helping our law enforcement, our police and our prosecutors in prosecuting these types of crimes.
Moore says the House and Senate came to an agreement on the bill. Governor Charlie Baker has 10 days to sign the bill into law. An event in Northbridge Wednesday night gave kids and parents a chance to learn how to better protect themselves in the case of a fire. The Northbridge Coalition hosted a Fire Safety Awareness Week event at the Balmer Elementary School. Firefighters spoke to families about having an evacuation plan in place in case of a fire. Also, the importance of checking the batteries of your smoke detectors as we enter the colder months. Organizers say it's important for kids to learn these things at a young age in case of an emergency.
So it's nice to see the community come out, sort of join together, have some fun. There's pizza in there too, so it's a good time.
The night also included a fire truck demonstration, board games, and a raffle. Another serious pedestrian accident on Worcester's Lincoln Street is renewing concerns over safety on the busy roadway. Tonight, we're learning more from police on their investigation. Our Brittany Schaefer has the details.
At the end of the day, I'd rather live and walk across the street safely.
A 57-year-old woman has several broken bones after being struck by a vehicle on Lincoln Street Tuesday. Police say she failed to obey the walk signals.
Wasn't in a crosswalk, didn't activate the cross signals, was going against the traffic signals, which we don't recommend at all.
Tuesdays is one of many serious pedestrian accidents on Lincoln Street in recent years. Wednesday, Worcester residents say people cross the street without regarding the signals all the time.
I see people on the street all the time not obeying the traffic rules. They press the button. Obviously, they can't wait, so they run across the street and get people beeping.
I see them. They don't stop.
Another popular issue on Lincoln Street is cars turning right on red when pedestrians have the walk signal.
It's very important for the pedestrians to watch for those signals, and it's very important for the pedestrians to watch for the cars that turn right on red. That's the problem.
Police say Lincoln Street sees a higher number of pedestrian accidents because it is a busy street with many lanes. Sergeant Carrie Hazelhurst says both pedestrians and operators need to be alert.
You just got to be a little more vigilant, be a little more cautious when you cross these busy streets. It definitely falls on the responsibility of the operator to be vigilant and alert.
Worcester's a busy city, especially Lincoln Street. This is probably one of the busiest streets in the city, and it's important. You got to obey the traffic signs, or unfortunately, something bad's going to happen.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
2 women from New York City are under arrest. Auburn police say they were using counterfeit money at stores inside the Auburn Mall. According to police, the woman bought items at 3 stores using these fake $100 bills. Police were called to the mall after a cashier at Forever 21 said the bills the 2 suspects used to purchase items with didn't scan. The 2 women were stopped by police after walking out of another store, and one of them tried running. Lauren Cruz and Yvette Guerrero are being charged with possessing counterfeit notes and uttering a forged document. Authorities seized 20 suspected counterfeit notes from the 2 women. New details on a deadly plane crash in Connecticut. Authorities are now saying it was intentional, but it was a suicide and not terrorism. Abby Nisgoda has the latest.
A dramatic scene that more than 24 hours later is still here in East Hartford.
Information indicates that this plane crash was intentional, but I want to be crystal clear. The circumstances beyond that are still being investigated.
A mangled plane in the middle of Main Street.
When I looked, the plane went like this and like that, and it just fell. Like just dropped to the ground.
But why it fell to the ground is a question investigators are still trying to answer. On board, 2 passengers, the student pilot, Ferris Freytek, who was killed, and the flight instructor, Arian Pravella, who survived.
He was pretty much burned, bloodied on his torso.
Employees at a nearby credit union say the surviving instructor came in asking for help.
He really didn't have much to say other than just talking about the crash. That was it. He really didn't offer a lot. Again, he was in shock.
And according to NBC News, he's also talking to investigators about what happened after the crash, telling them there was a struggle for control before the plane went down. He says the student was flying.
This plane is flying like way too low.
Witnesses say an argument could explain what they saw in the sky, but they're still waiting for an explanation as to why.
Circumstances beyond the crash is who was the pilot, what the circumstances were that led to it being intentional. All windows are open at this point.
And because this crash here behind me was ruled intentional, the NTSB says the investigation will now go to the FBI. They're going to take it from here, and at this time, sources are telling NBC News that there's no indication that what happened was an act of terror. In East Hartford, Connecticut, I'm Abby Nisgoda, Worcester News Tonight.
In Sterling, the driver of a car narrowly misses being hit by a tree in an accident. Police say the car went off the road at Squareshire and Campground Road yesterday and struck a tree. As you can see, the tree went completely through the windshield, missing the driver by a few inches. If the tree hit any closer to the left, it could have been deadly. One of the world's best-known cyclists is visiting Worcester this week. Bernard Eno made a name for himself in professional cycling's premier event, and today he biked to a couple schools and talked to students about staying active and fit. Our Roslyn Flaherty was along for the ride and has the story.
I've learned how easy it is to make a difference in a child's life by, bringing biking to them.
5-time Tour de France champion Bernard Eno is teaming up with Bikes in Life to make a difference.
Le message, c'est de pratiquer le sport.
Sports are a very important part of your life. It's a way of making friends. It's a way of staying healthy.
Wednesday, Eno spent the day biking to schools in Worcester to talk to students about the importance of sports, exercise, and his life as a professional athlete.
His hope is to see a lot of young people on bicycles and winning races.
Eno will bike 40 miles around Worcester on Thursday to raise money for his charity for cancer research in France and a charity called Fane House for children who age out of foster care.
Bernard is an ambassador for riding, And he's hoping that by him traveling along the entire East Coast of the United States this week, that he could do more for cycling, and hoping that particularly young people will be more motivated to get out and ride bikes.
Eno surprised 2 students from Elm Park Community School with bikes donated by Bikes and Life.
And doing good things for the community, it's a journey. You don't do it once, you do it continuously.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News.